Hi, I'm Chef Gail Sokol and welcome to my kitchen. Well, it's about summertime and I'm getting ready to make a huge slab pie, a mixed berry slab pie. So it's going to be 15.5 inches long, 10 inches wide, and this will feed a crowd. So if you have people coming for 4th of July or a family reunion, you can make a couple of these and you can feed tons of people. And they're really seasonal because you can use any berries you want. I'm going to use strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries. But you can pick, and you can just use one or you can use many different types. And it's an awesome pie with a flaky crust, and it can go anywhere this summer, wherever you go. But before we get started, I'd like you to click that notification button because I want you to become a subscriber. I don't want you to miss any of my tips or videos because they're pretty awesome. And I love having you here in my kitchen. I really love having friends watching me and helping me bake. Okay, the first thing we want to do is preheat our oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's a pretty hot oven. That's very typical for a pie. And the next thing we want to do is get a big pitcher or a liquid measuring cup of icy water, not measured, just a large amount, more than you need because you may need more than you think. And we're going to make our crust. We're going to make our bottom crust first, and we're going to do it in our food processor because it's just so much easier. And because I don't want my food processor to be handling so much, it would be a pound of butter and it would be a lot of ingredients. I'm going to do it by the top crust and the bottom crust separate. So I have 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour and half a teaspoon of salt I'm going to put in my food processor. And I did forget one ingredient, but it is safely in my fridge, and I'm going to pulse, just until the salt and the flour sort of get a little combined. I'm going to run to my fridge for 1 second just to get some of my butter. I need some of my butter. I have 2 sticks or half a pound of butter. And I did this ahead of time. You can even do this ahead and freeze it. So easy to do. Sometimes you can just cut your butter and put it in the freezer in the stickfuls. So it's, it's 8 tablespoons. It's 1/4 pound. And then you can make pies anytime you want and not worry about the butter. So I have the butter here, about 1/2-inch cubes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add sugar, 2 tablespoons of sugar, a granulated sugar, just to give it a slight sweetness. So before we do that, I'm going to pulse that again too. I'm going to pulse that up. Pulse, 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 not that many times, just 6 or 8 times, whatever, just enough that it's, I almost forgot you, sugar, but when you're not forgotten. Now I'm going to add my butter. So it's 2 sticks, pretty cold. So just separate into cubes. All right, the food processor will do the rest. And then we're going to pulse this until it becomes pea-sized pieces. Just pulse, 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 pulse. I always have my kitchen towel over my food processor just for this purpose, because it always likes to say, hey, I'm in charge, Chef Gail. You're not in charge. The food processor's in charge. So we want to get pea-sized pieces. That's about right. All right. You win. I forgot my kitchen towel to put over it. This is my secret ingredient to make a flaky pie crust and also to help it become more, as we bakers like to say, extensible. It'll be easier to roll out. And this is a big crust, okay? 1 tablespoon of some form of a edible acid, all right? And we're going to use apple cider vinegar in this case. We're just going to drizzle it in. 1 tablespoon. If you don't like apple cider vinegar, you can use lemon juice, orange juice. You could even use vodka, all right? And I have spoken about vodka in the past. It has no flavor. if you drink, you know, and it's actually very good at making pie crusts and making them extensible. So I'm going to take half a cup of water, icy water from my stash that I had going. And I want to make sure that it is half a cup. So look down at the meniscus, and then I'm going to add 2 more tablespoons. So I want about half a cup and 2 tablespoons. And we may need more, all right? So when you add the ice water, do it carefully. I'm going to add just half, all right? Sometimes you never know if you measure your flour incorrectly. Sometimes, or not incorrectly, but you may pack it a little more or maybe do a little less. Sometimes you need a little more water, you need a little less water. So I have a nice crumbly crust, so I can still see it needs, you can still see it needs a little water. And it might even need more water after this. All right, and don't be afraid to add it. So you'll see in the recipe, I write a half a cup plus 2 tablespoons per top crust, and then the bottom crust will have the same amount, and then more if needed. So you can see it sort of balling up a little bit, but I still think we're going to need a little more. So here we go. You can see it. I can gather it and push it together like a dough, but something tells me I'm just going to add maybe a teaspoon more. Just a teaspoon more, especially when I want to really roll something out and I really want to have a nice big crust. I want to make sure that it rolls out properly. I don't want it crumbly right now. This is not what I'm going for. All right. So now I'm going to put this on my work surface because I'm going to roll it out, and this is my 15.5 by, so it's 15.5 inches long, 10 inches wide, and 1 inch high. You do not want to do this with a, you don't want to do this with a flat baking sheet because it will drizzle out. You really want the whole thing to stay in the pan. That's the whole purpose, right? All right, so gather this. It will be a little crumbly, and you expect it to be. It's a typical crust. Sometimes I put it in a bowl, sometimes I don't, because we're going to roll it right away. We're not going to chill it. We're going to roll it right away, and I'm not going to roll it right this second. Do not wash this because you still have a top crust to make, people. All right? We want a nice top crust. So you're going to put this right back on. All right, and we'll get that going. We're just going to gather it. We're going to gather it. All right, just gather. And we have to make sure we are not making a round pie. So remember, we have to think of the shape of the day. The shape of the day is now rectangle. So I'm pushing this together. I see my little bitty bits of butter. Perfect, because that's going to mean flakiness is going to happen. Flakiness is what we want. Perfect for this pie. And flakiness will occur because those little bits of butter are going to melt in the oven. They're going to create spacers, so empty spaces, and the icy water that we used is actually going to turn to steam and get in those spaces, and the butter has water in it as well. It's going to turn to steam, and it's going to puff up on the dough above and below it, creating flakiness. So I am going to shape this into a rectangle, and I'm going to do that after I get back. I'm going to make my top crust first, and I'm going to wrap it in some plastic wrap and keep it in the fridge until we need it, because I don't think you need to see me do this twice. So I'll see you back after I make my top crust. So I made my top crust. It is wrapped in plastic wrap in the fridge for just a little while until we are ready to top it. And it's going to be a lattice top pie. Doesn't have to be, but I thought it might be fun. And what I did was I took a 15.5 inch by 10 inch with a 1 inch height sheet pan. It's just like a cookie sheet pan. And I sprayed it with nonstick cooking spray. Even though we have enough butter to cover probably the earth, I still would like a little insurance that our pie is going to come out. Now, I've sort of pre-rolled my bottom crust, but not completely to the fullest length. I want 18 by 13. Remember, the pan has sides. So we want 15, an inch up on the other side. So that's 17, and it's 15 and a half. So a little bit more. All right. So right now, I wanted to finish this with you. It's about 18, but I may just square it off a little bit, and we wanted to get 13, we're at 11 and a half. So you're going to take your rolling pin and you're going to make sure you've really floured it. Okay, you want more flour with a pie crust than you do with something like a bread dough, because a bread dough, you don't want it to be dry. Pie crust, we're going to use our pastry brush to shake off the excess flour. So I'm going to go a little bit in this direction. And remember, look what I'm doing. I'm rolling one way, then I'm rolling in the middle. Because it's so long, there's like two middles, and then keep going. So you square it off. And then use your hand. We're trying to get as much of a rectangle as possible. If it's not perfect, we have a little knife. And we're going to use that little knife to guide us and to create a straight edge. All right? So I have almost 13, so I'm going to keep going. And you can see the pie, the crust itself is a little bit thicker in certain areas. Bigger is better because you can always shave some off, all right? And trimming is good. Then you can bake off the trimmings, with cinnamon sugar, yum, yum, yum. So we're just going to, and don't even square it off, with a knife now, because once it's in the pan, you'll do it. You want to make sure that you definitely have excess. So I have over 18, so I have a little more insurance that way. And I have about 13 and a half, 14. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush and just brush off the excess. Although if there was a little flour in the bottom crust, that would be fine because it would help thicken our fruit up, our fruit filling a little bit anyway. That would be okay. And then I'm going to fold it in half. So you really want to make sure the bottom is floured and it's moving. So in order to ensure that it's moving, just go around with your bench scraper, or I have what's known as a Kuchenlooser. This is just the brand name of it. But it's like a giant spatula. And you just sort of go around, make sure everybody's moving, all right, and floured. So I am going to take this and actually put it, just say abracadabra, and hopefully it works. We're just going to go in half. If it breaks, you're not going to worry about it because you can patch. Patching when you make a pie crust is very easy to do. You can use a little water, or you don't even have to use a little water. You can just patch it with your fingers, all right? So I'm just going to move this into our pan. All right, I feel like I need a couple more arms, just a few more arms. That would be nice, right? So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to flip it into my pan, all right, and move this over and bring it up over here. It's sort of like making a big king-size bed. Not easy, all right? And just flip it in. And I'm just going to gently fit it in. You see what I'm doing? You don't want to, and if it fits over the edges, that's fine. Just put it in, because we're going to have a top crust that's going to go on top as well. So the bottom crust is really very forgiving because you're going to have a filling in there. So we did okay. And I have a little bit of a shortage over here, so I'm going to rob Peter to pay Paul, to take a phrase, that I like to use. And we're just going to cut a little excess here with my sharp knife. Just be careful you don't hurt yourself. And I'm just going to push it in here. All right, so that our little hole goes away. It's gone. No problemo. Perfect. Okay? And now I'm going to push it up the sides, and make sure you really push it into the corners. Pies have to be pushed into the corners. You don't want shrinkage. That little greased area, remember we greased it with a nonstick cooking spray, will help tremendously. So I'm just going to gently shave off my excess. Remember, bake these off. Excellent. Bake them off at 400 degrees. You want to egg wash them and cover them with some cinnamon sugar. Or you can even make them savory if you want. So I'm just going to, but that's another video. So we're just going to shave this off. And again, it's not going to be perfect. You can see I still have the top crust to do. So I don't want it perfectly shaved because we're going to do some crimping once we get our filling in there. All right. So just finishing my shaving. All right. Just shave off some of the excess. Let it have a very slight overhang. I didn't have that much excess. All right. And now we're going to put it aside. I'm going to get my ingredients for my filling, wash my hands, and I'll see you back. So we're ready to make our mixed berry filling, and I have a huge bowl because I'm going to be, moving them around, and we really want to have a lot of space so we don't crush them. So I have different kinds of berries, red and blue. So this is perfect for 4th of July, but you can choose. You can do all one or the other. So I have 3 cups of sliced strawberries that I've washed, hulled, and sliced thin. And then I have 2 cups of fresh blueberries. Put those in there. And then I have 2 cups of fresh raspberries that are beautiful. And then I have only 1 cup of blackberries. Blackberries are very seedy. They're very seedy. They live in the wrong side of town. But a lot of people don't like them because they are seedy and they get things in your teeth. So unless you want to give out dental floss during your picnic or your barbecue, don't use as many. But they're so beautiful and so delicious. So I'm gently going to just toss gently. And then I'm going to add, you can see how pretty they look, right? Very pretty. And remember, pies bake down, even if it's a slab pie, which is a flatter pie and a longer pie, they'll bake down. So now I'm going to take my thickening agent, which is half a cup of cornstarch. I'm going to put that in there. And I'm just, again, going to gently toss. We're not trying to break up the fruit. We're not trying to mash it. And I'm not putting sugar in here. What I am going to put in is some seedless raspberry jam, about 2/3 of a cup. Gives it a nice sweetness, and it also adds to the beautiful color. So again, it just looks like they're coated in the cornstarch because we want them to thicken up. We don't want their juices to be oozing everywhere when we cut into it. This can be served warm. This can be served cold, anywhere. That's why it's perfect for a picnic or a barbecue. So I have 2/3 of a cup, and I'm just going to sort of scatter that around my berries. And then this is where you want to be super careful when you mix it. You want to really just gently fold it in. All right, gently fold it in and toss that. I just find sometimes preserves gives a nice, sweet berry flavor, and it's just perfect. I do that sometimes for my fruit sauces as well. All right, so gently toss, and it will thicken up a little, you'll see, and get a little, the cornstarch will get a little thickened with the, cause almost like a sauciness with the jam, and that's fine. Just make sure you coat everything so that the cornstarch is gently getting combined, but not too much. And now I'm going to take my beautiful pastry lined sheet pan, and now the fun begins by lifting up all this beautifulness, and I'm going to gently put it into my pan everywhere. All right, just everywhere. So remember, this is a different type of pie. It's not going to be sky-high apple pie, sky-high pies. This is a real sort of a flat, almost like a giant Pop-Tart, if you will, in a way, but so much better. So I'm just going to scatter this around. Scatter is not the right word. Sort of throw them around, like strawberry, you go in the corner here. And just sort of move them around. Make sure it's pretty even, okay? You want fruit everywhere. Everyone should have a lot of fruitiness in each bite, in each piece. So you can see what I'm doing. See that? I'm just moving it around and sort of pressing it down gently. Yes, I know, you're yelling, in the corner over there, I know. And in the corner over here. So I'm doing that. Leave the edges alone because we're going to be making our lattice top. Okay. So I'm just going to move these around till they fit in, fill in, fill in. And our oven is ready to go. So all we have to do is roll out our top crust. And I'm going to roll it out so you don't have to see me roll it out, but then we're going to cut it in a special way that I do want you to see. So I am going to be rolling the top crust to a 17 by 12 inch rectangle. So I'll see you back. So I have rolled out my bottom crust to approximately the same dimensions as my bottom crust. So it's about 18 by 13, give or take. If it's a little longer, that's fine. Now, I want to do diagonal, when we have our lattice top, I like the way it looks like diamonds through the holes of the crust. So I'm going to start because I want equal numbers because we have to make a big X, right? And then smaller strips on either side. And we're not weaving them in. We're not making it that difficult. But you can do whatever you want. You can do straight. You can even cut this into stars or circles or whatever you want, or just cut a few slits and fit this on top of the entire pie. So whatever you decide to do. So I'm going to go through the diagonal of this, just roughly through the diagonal. And I have a crimped pie cutter that I'm going to use. You don't have to. You can use a pizza wheel. And I'm just going to cut right through, all right? And I'm just going to make them, I'm going to designate maybe 3/4 of an inch or so. It's up to you. And I'm going to do another one. So this will make a full strip. And then I'm going to do another one because we need two. Remember, we need that X in the center. And then after that, everything is sort of the topping on the cake or on the pie. And now I want to do 5 on one side and 5 on the other. So I'm just going to have strips, so about 5 on each. And if you have some extra, that's fine. They can even be different sizes. That can be very cool to make them not totally symmetrical. That can be very pretty. So 1 here, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. And here I may make them a little bit thicker because I have a lot extra, but I'd rather have extra than not have extra. So let's make them a little thicker. Let's see how they look. So we have 1, 1, 2, 3, 3. We'll do 4. And if we have extra ones, that's fine, because sometimes if they break, I'm going to even do an extra wide one over here. All right? Because if they break, you always know you have extra. All right? So now we're going, here's our filling. We're going to egg wash around. So I have 1 egg beaten, large egg beaten, just sort of beat it up with a little fork. And with a pastry brush, I'm just going to go across the pastry, just so it sticks a little bit. All right, just so it sticks a little bit. And then you can crimp it any way you want. It's so much fun. It's a fun thing to do. And it's so pretty. Just make sure that each area does have a little egg wash on it, okay? So we're going to take the center piece here, and be careful because it's a big piece, and we're going to put it diagonally across, okay? And don't worry about cutting it now. If it's a little extra, this is a lot extra, just make sure it gets right down into the pie. All right, and I'm just going to pull that off with my finger because that was like really long. That's okay. All right, that's okay. And now from this side, I'm going to take successively smaller pieces because it's going down. The length is going down. All right, we're not weaving, so don't worry about weaving, okay? And we're going to take another piece and just go like that. And if you see you're not close enough, just move it closer. And then I'm going to take the same thing on the other side, but I'm going to use this because I see this is a little bit thinner, and then I'm going to start using wider pieces across. Because I want 12, we're going to go, you know, we have to do 6 one way and 6 the other. So I'm gently pushing, pushing, pushing. Okay, push. All right, and then we're going to take another thinner one and just go across. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to just pinch, 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 pinch. All right, and then I'm going to go over here. Try to make it sort of even. And if you wanted to do 7 on a side instead of 6, you could. There's no pie laws, you know what I mean? So 2 and 2 with our center in the middle. So we have 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do like 1 on either side. I'm going to do a big one on either side. I'm actually going to cut this because I want a smaller one here. So just do that. Okay. That's nice. And then we'll do a fatter one over here. And there we go on that side. And now on this side, we're going to take our, remember our original real long one and do a crisscross. Okay. So crisscross it, pinch it a little bit. And then after that, you can do your one next to each other. See, it's beginning to look very pretty. And if you want it thinner, you can actually thin these out. You can do whatever you want, whatever you want. I like them thick and thin. I like that. And they're long. Longer is better than shorter. Just remember that because you can always trim. You can't always add. So that's the problem. So now we have that. Now we're going to, we need a total of 6 because that's what we did for the bottom. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to do, we got a little bit extra here. Let's cut some of that off. And we can go like that. And the same with this. And like I said, don't worry about extra. Extra is good. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I see that I might want a little bit extra on that one. So I'm going to just trim this a little bit, and I want another piece here. I just do. I just do. I made a chef's executive decision. Okay, so I'm going to move all these. And all you would do is egg wash these, put them on a sheet pan, and you have a beautiful, beautiful snack. All right, so I'm going to move this on top of here. So we're going to egg wash it and crimp it. I'm just pushing gently everybody on here. And I'm going to take my little knife and I'm just going to cut around almost flush with the bottom crust. Almost flush with the bottom crust. Just go around and trim. Trim, trim, trim. You can even do this with kitchen shears or just pinch it. No big deal. I've done it both ways. It's fine. Okay, just pinch, pinch, and then we're going to crimp. Any way you want to crimp, you can crimp. Some people just like to take a fork and crimp it. Sometimes I just like to, I see how much pastry I have left and I decide what I want to do. Sometimes I just pinch it with my fingers and make a nice little crimping. So I think everybody, nope, not everyone's cut off here. We're cutting you off. Here we are, we're cutting it off. All right, move these out of the way, out of the way. Still a little extra here. And now with my fingers, I'm going to tuck under. Just sort of pull it out a little and tuck under. So you have a little bit of a lip, like a little bit of a lip under, pull it under. And this looks very nice just the way it is. Or you can crimp it more if you want, but just make sure you tighten by pushing a little bit on the edges, okay? You can even take a spoon and make little you know, like scoopy marks with the spoon on the sides of the crust, or you can just leave. This looks so pretty. Very rustic, very picnic, very barbecue, very summer, right? Very summer. Very nice. Other times what I've done is taken a star cookie cutter, and instead of doing crisscrosses of crust, I've actually done, to make a lattice, I've actually done just stars all over. So that's fun too. The biggest thing you want is to be able to peek through and have some steam holes so that you know when your pie is done, the crust is nice and brown and the fruit filling is bubbling through. So I'm just gonna, I like it the way it is. I think we're gonna leave it the way it is. My oven is hot at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. This is gonna bake about 40 to 45 minutes, but you're gonna look at it. At 40, make sure you look at it. Even at 35 to make sure, I'm just going around to make sure all my crusts are cut off. And now I'm gonna egg wash all around and we're gonna sugar it. All right, I like to put a little granulated sugar all over because that's gonna make it brown. The sugar's gonna attract the heat and it's going to create a beautiful brown caramelized crust on the top. And we have a beautiful flaky pie crust that we made. Beautiful. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. If I do say so myself. Very festive, wouldn't you say, with a little vanilla ice cream or whipped cream, anything you want. Looks good. Looks good. All right, so now we're sugaring. We're sugaring, and then we're gonna put it in the oven. If you feel better, you can actually put a larger sheet pan underneath or even a piece of foil. If it should not overflow, but sometimes fruit pies will do that. And this is a big fruit pie, real big fruit pie. All right, I just like to have it nice and sugary, even on the edges. Don't be skimpy. Don't be skimpy with that sugar. All right, just do it, do it, do it. All right, so 40 to 45 minutes. Check it out about 35 minutes, and I will see you back. Look at my mixed berry slab pie. It just came out of the oven. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. This is going to be your family reunion 4th of July tradition. I promise you, you'll be making this over and over. It is wonderful. It is hot. I would serve it at room temperature or even cold. So just bring it to the picnic, bring it to the barbecue. It's awesome. I hope you become a subscriber and I hope you make this mixed berry slab pie. You will love it. Until next time.